to be How's It Hanging, How's It Happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. Get $100 off an entire custom PC build. Use code CBPOD at darkfusions.com. Link to the podcast below. Now time for feature presentation. This is a big one, everybody. We have The Warning on the podcast today with their brand new Keep Me Fed coming out on June 28th. So yeah, it's probably coming out right now, so go and listen to it. It is one hell of an album. So we talk about it. We talk about some of the unreleased songs as of this moment, them playing on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and what their goal is from Keep Me Fed to the next release, because they have grown massively, and their answer, it is absolutely fantastic. It's going to surprise you like crazy. Is everybody ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, I am super duper excited to have probably what is the hottest rock band in the world back on the podcast today. They have a brand new album called Keep Me Fed coming out on June 28th, and also have one hell of a performance coming up too, because to be and for this album and to promote it, they're gonna be on Jimmy Kimmel the day that before the album releases. I mean, this is absolutely insane. This band is growing massively, and if you are not on the train with them right now, you absolutely should be. So please welcome Dany, Ali, and Paul from the band The Warning back to the podcast. So ladies, it's a pleasure. Welcome back.
Hey everyone.
Hello, glad to be back. Thank you for the intro. Very exciting. I got excited just hearing what we're about to do.
I mean, I had to give you the biggest intro possible. Just watching the band over the past couple of years, seeing how much you've grown, it has been like an insane wild ride from where 2021 was to releasing Air in 2022 till now. The growth of the band and where you are and how people see you in rock music is absolutely insane. So from your perspective, how has all this gone from this massive growth to being one of the biggest rock bands in the world?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, from our perspective, it has been a crazy ride. We have had so many experiences that we've never thought that we would have, or maybe so early on, they were dreams, And right now we're living.
We're literally the dream,
living out our dreams. So that's insane. We have toured all over the world in the last 2 years, and we're excited to do it now with new music.
Yeah, and I feel like the growth that we've had is equal to the work that we've been putting in. Since 2021, I remember when we last talked and we were doing Rockville for the first time, and we were nervous about it. We were releasing singles, and I remember everything that we've did since then. Yeah, and we've done so many tours, so many shows haven't stopped. So I feel very happy that we're putting in all this work and all these things are coming out of it. Yeah. So we're very just happy about it.
I mean, again, the growth has been absolutely insane, because you're right. The last time we talked, it was right before Welcome to Rockville in 2021. It was the first time you're playing a festival over here in the States. And since then, you've played multiple festivals over here. You're going to be coming back once again, I think, to play Louder Than Life in 2024, to see the band again. Woohoo! So I'm happy about that. On top of that, I've seen you, open stadium shows. It's absolutely insane. Foo Fighters, Guns N' Roses, supporting Hailstorm on tour, going overseas, and recently playing in Japan. Yeah. When it comes to a worldwide phenomenon that is The Warning, over the past couple of years, you've absolutely hit on it. You've absolutely made it happen. But you're right, the work that all three of you have put in, that the team has put in to put you all in this position, and the music that you've created as well, especially what's going to be coming out on Keep Me Fed, not only from the singles, but the songs yet to be released on full release day. I mean, it speaks for itself why The Warning is probably the best rock band out there right now. It's hard to say otherwise.
Thank you so
much.
I feel shy about it.
I feel very complimented.
Again, we're so happy that the work is showing the results, because once again, it's not only us, but as you said, our whole team has been working non-stop, and everyone is making so many sacrifices to make all of this possible. We get a call and we take the call and we do the thing, and we all of us. So that joint effort, I feel it's just what really keeps moving this Warning train forward.
It has to keep moving the train forward, because if not everyone was on board and you're not doing every bit that you can possibly do, then, you might still be playing maybe one show, one festival a year, but it's getting to the point where I mean, again, it's becoming a worldwide phenomenon. The fact that you played shows in Japan, where having those shows be absolutely packed. I saw some of the pictures, and then having your like a full headline tour coming over the U.S., playing North America, playing Canada, and recently, as of the day that I watched, that we're recording this, announced a couple of shows in 2025, headliners over in Europe, which again is absolutely massive. Just seeing the insane growth that is happening. On top of that, when the album releases, you're gonna be, on Jimmy Kimmel to not only play, show the album off, show you the band off, but give yourselves a brand new audience to get in front of and show your music to. And I know that's coming up literally probably the day I release this episode. So how did that all come to fruition?
Oh my God. Yeah. We were completely shocked when we were actually in Europe in the middle of a tour when we got the news. So
I don't remember where we were.
We were in Glasgow.
We were in
Glasgow.
Our
We were
dates,
about to
our dates for the Auditorio Nacional, which is a very important venue in Mexico City,
Mhm.
were announced, were for sale that day, and they were sold out that day. And then we got the Jimmy Kimmel news, and
It was just a great day.
it was a very overwhelming day.
Very overwhelming day, but like in the greatest
And
sense.
the way that it came through, I mean, your team is constantly looking for these opportunities, and I knew that we were in talks with various shows, and the one with the Jimmy Kimmel one is the one that really landed, and we were just so excited. I'm really now that we're talking about it, I'm I feel like we haven't had the time for it to settle in.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been so busy, but I feel like on that day I'm completely just gonna lose it.
For sure. Because we're gonna feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be fine. Hey, we're gonna be fine. Exactly. This is what we do. That's what we do.
We know how to play.
Exactly.
And what are we gonna do? We're gonna play.
We're gonna share music.
Fantastic.
From my perspective too, I can understand where the nerves would come in and just be like, I can't believe this is happening, but I know you're going to go out there and you're going to just absolutely kill it because you've played in front of much larger crowds before. You've played in front of stadiums of people before. You've played in front of insanely crazy rock fans. So I don't think playing in front of a studio audience and Jimmy Kimmel with some cameras around you is going to be really any problem for you three. It's going to be a perfect time for not only so many of us that have been watching you, have been listening to your music, and have been supporting you throughout the years, see this fully come to fruition, but for a major mainstream audience to get a first taste of potentially a band that they've slept on and can now become fans of, to the point where, all these rock radio stations have been playing the same songs from the 70s and 80s over and over again, finally get the idea of, hey, The Warning is the band that we need to play because this is the band that's going to be showing rock musicians in the future what it means to be a rock musician and the importance of this music and where they're going to be the ones driving all of that forward.
Oh my God. No pressure.
Thank you.
No pressure. I'm so not nervous now. Thank you for that.
No, thank you so much. That sounds amazing. And that's what we, that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah.
And making this new music and this new album, definitely, we had that in mind. Our live shows and the energy that we want to represent. That we want to be represented by.
But this new thing that all these shows that we're doing, all these opportunities that are coming in, we really wanted to give what we believe is our best foot forward. Mm-hmm. Especially we've grown so much over the past few years as people, as musicians, and we wanted to show that evolution, that growth. And I feel like we accomplished it. We're super proud of what we were able to do with this album and what we say with it and how we play it and how it connects with people. So hopefully we just start connecting with even more people.
I have a feeling that once this album releases and everyone gets to really get behind it, that's exactly what's going to happen. When you start releasing singles for it with More and Sick, what it showed, especially from my perspective, was that when it came to your overall sound, what is at the core of The Warning is absolutely there. But then as more singles started to come out, you had Que Mas Quieres, you had Burnout, you had Hell You Call a Dream, and Automatic Sun. It showed that when it comes to your style, you're taking all these other influences and you're playing around with so many other sounds, but you're also still keeping the core that is The Warning there intact. So whenever those choruses hit, we feel that, absolute centerpiece that is you. But the influence there are so overpresent as well, where it's such an expanded sound. And the only question I have after listening to those singles was, on these other songs that have yet to be released yet, is this same thing going to continue to expand? And I'm happy to say it absolutely did. There were a couple of songs that are not yet released that are coming out on full album day that I was absolutely surprised by and blown away by in the best way possible?
Which ones?
Yeah, I feel like I
know.
For me, the ones that have yet to be released, I really like 6 Feet Deep, but when I heard Sharks and Consume, those two were the ones where I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I cannot wait to hear these live and see how the crowd reacts to these songs being played live. They're going to lose their absolute minds.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sharks is the one I'm really. Musically, for me, that was the most exciting and fun song to explore. It's just weird.
Yeah,
it's just overall. And
it's so good.
Every time like another element of that song kicks in, I'm always like, that is so good.
And we had a bit of a hard time getting to like the final result of the song.
Yeah.
So when we finally like,
we're proud of it.
Yeah,
we
did
it.
Consume and Shark, they changed a lot,
and those were like really hard songs to make them sound the way that they sound now.
Yeah.
Like we were stuck. I'm glad that those were your standout picks from those new ones. Yeah.
Oh, they're absolutely standout picks. They're the ones that, of course, I'm not gonna lie, everyone, you should listen to this album from front to back. You should just experience the whole thing, because some of the other songs too, like I said, 6 Feet Deep, I really like. Apologize had this massive like blowout feel to it, especially once you got to the chorus that stood out. So there's so many other songs on here that you can sink your teeth into, but when you get to Sharks and Consume, you're gonna have this absolute whirlwind of a time. But you're saying when it came to Sharks, it was one of the more complicated ones to put together. When it came to writing that one, what was the difficulty coming from there? How did this whole song come to fruition?
We only have
Sharks was a whole thing. I started it out, I think, in 2021 on Logic. I was doing a little demo and I had the riff. I was about to start singing it, but the song is not out yet, technically. But I had the little riff that stayed there, and it sounded like Sharks. That's why it's called Sharks. That was just the demo name. And I started writing. I have the drum loop thingy I did on Logic and apart from that, I had the verses and I had a really bad chorus, and I showed it to my sisters, and then that's when we started writing with other people. So we took it. This one we wrote it with Michael Sondo and
Sarah Davis.
Sarah was so sweet. And we started writing it, and then after that, we finished writing it in 2022, and then we came back to it with Anton, and we rewrote so many things.
Yes.
And then it was just a very big puzzle with other people's started putting their puzzle pieces, which was very exciting for us, because it really takes you out of your writer's block. You don't have that because you have other people working.
It opened up our minds to all the possibilities that we know we were just kind of not looking at. We were just very close into the rock or whatever, but hearing other stuff, not the rock. I'm not explaining myself.
But what we're used to,
our boundaries we're used to, and what we wanted the song to sound like. But it wasn't until we explored outside that we got to the result.
I feel that's our heaviest song.
It is.
I feel like people get scared when we say co-writes, and they see the writers and they see their credits. Yeah. And these are some of the most creative people who can literally write anything, any genre. So when you're in that room and you have so many influences and so many experiences to pick from, they just really get into this very big melting pot, and something like Sharks is born.
Oh, I understand where you're coming from there, because when people see, co-writes, they think that other people are going to have influence on there and it's going to take the band in a different direction. And there's always the nervousness around that. But when it came to Shark specifically, in my opinion, out of the non-singles, this was probably the best non-single on the album overall. Because when you were listening to it, it gives you the feeling that, the Warning could possibly go in a little bit more of a metal direction if they really wanted to. But you're also showing the varying vocal patterns and different parts, Dany, that you use that show off the creative, powerful flow, kind of mixing the little bit of metal in here with the hard rock sound that you have. And it's possible that you could explore this more, go a little bit heavier even, and still go right back to the core that is the Warning, but expand the sound overall. This song shows so much potential for what could still become of the Warning, which is honestly probably the best thing overall. There is so much more you can still do than you did on this album, and it just expands the band even further to, when you're playing stadiums, not only in Mexico or in the US, but also overseas, you're the ones that are going to be headlining them soon enough.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that.
We're happy that this album shows that potential and that growth and those steps that we want to take. We're happy that it shows like that.
Yeah, if it didn't show like that, then I mean, I would be kind of thinking here, like, you know, there was so much here, and then it just kind of stayed saying, no, what you did on this album was show who you are more so, but then also expand on that further and show that there's still so much more yet to be explored. It's like the gift that keeps on giving every single year is the warning.
Yes.
And so far from all the singles that have been released, because I know you've been releasing for about a year at this point, with more coming out last year, what has been the overall reception from the fans from the first 6 singles that have come out from this album?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I feel like the reception has overall been great and we love it. But I feel that with every single, people are trying to like put the album into context and see like kind of like see what they would expect. And everyone was just like, we have to expect everything.
Because like when we released more, I feel like it's very different from what we did on our last album, but it's still very us. And people were like, oh, what is this? And then we released Sick.
Yeah, Sick was the
and
second
we
one.
played Sick and like Hell You Call a Dream on the same show before it was released. So people were like, what is going on? Because like people were like, oh,
And then it was
no,
like,
it's not that like rock that we're used to.
We don't follow
but,
like the same path.
So people were just like, what are we expecting?
Yeah.
We don't know.
And we like that.
We
You
like
keep
it.
people
that.
on your toes.
Yeah.
On their toes.
But people like really ended up liking everything.
Yes.
We're very grateful
Yeah.
for that.
We
And
can't wait to tour with it.
yeah, I'm actually so excited to play everything live. We've been practicing, we've been rehearsing, and we're gonna play these songs for the first time in Europe, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
we go out on tour in like a week. Oh my god, we go out on tour in a week. But yeah, we're heading over to Europe again, and we're gonna start playing this album for the first time ever, and it's gonna be very, very
It's gonna be
cool.
interesting.
It's going to be interesting, but it does make a lot of sense what you said, Allie, where, you know, as time had gone on with these single releases, everyone was trying to put this album into context, because I remember, you know, I started getting into like the YouTube reaction stuff to try and help the growth of the channel. And it was every time you released a brand new song, I'm like, I know I got to get into this. I got to listen to this. I got to do the reaction to this. And every time everyone is completely different. After I heard Hell You Call a Dream and Came Out Scares, I'm like, okay, we can't put this band in a box at all. You just got to let them fly. You got to let them soar, because you listen to Hell You Call a Dream. And I thought that if rock radio did not pick up that song, they were going to be the dumbest people out there, because they missed out on an absolute gold mine. And I never heard it on rock radio. So someone absolutely missed out on this one. But now people got to, you know, find it again and not miss out on it. But then Came Out Scares came out like on the exact same day. And I was just absolutely blown away by it, because it shows so much more range, even, especially singing in Spanish. I know you've done that before, but again, it shows so much more range and more power, just how much the band can formulate around so many different things and so many different ideas. Because what happens if you do half an album, next album, like half in Spanish, half in English? There's going to be so much that you can do, and it still sounds incredible, to the point where everything is cohesive, everything is mixed really well, but the writing that you're doing along with other people that you're working with, it flows so well to the inspiration is so outstanding. But when you listen to the core of it, it is absolutely the three of you at its base, and there is no denying that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad, because
That's what
it is us. I mean,
Exactly.
it's our album. They're our songs. We wrote them. So we're happy that we've done enough work in our past for people to listen to this album and be able to recognize our roots in it. Like for it to be identifiable, like, oh, of course it's the warning. So I love that.
So then once this album gets released and going forward, I know you're touring over Europe, you're coming to tour in the US, you're going back to Europe in 2025 for a couple of even bigger headlining shows. What is the anticipation for the warning going forward upon this album release? Like, what do you want to get going forward? What's the goal? Because whatever goal you had after Error, I think you absolutely surpassed that even. So I want to know where the goal is now to see how much further you surpass it by the time the next album comes out, or even the next year or two.
You know, I feel like one thing that we've learned throughout this year is that we've been surprised with every step that has happened along the way, 100%. So I feel like our goal is to keep being surprised, you know?
That's a great goal.
Just like let's see what life brings our way, because
Hey,
we have
good
not.
surprises.
Yeah,
Good-
good
only
surprises.
good surprises,
Only good
please.
surprises.
And I
Por favor.
mean, what we've always wanted is growth. And like just sharing our music with more people and more people and more people. And that's definitely happening. But at the root, it's still the same. Hopefully we could just grow more and more and more and more and
Make
more.
our
with it.
family a bigger
Family.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, make the family a bigger family. I mean, who knows? Go back to Japan, maybe play arena shows with baby metal. That could be a possibility.
Yes.
Go to Europe and do full headlining runs where you're playing in front of 4, 5, 6,000 people a night. Come back over to the US and play in front of not just, I'm not talking about, normal, ballroom halls that maybe hold 3,000, 4,000 people. I'm talking about playing in front of stadiums and massive crowds of like 10 to 12,000. At home in Mexico, maybe playing, actually playing a stadium, but being the headliner at this point. The growth of the band is continuing on that, but the goal to continue to be surprised still puts that fire inside you, still puts that drive to keep going and try more and enjoy it every step of the way. That is something that even I've lost in myself as well, that I should be doing the same thing, just continue to be surprised with this. And hearing that, I'm like, you know what? That's actually inspiring even to me. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's part of life, man.
Childlike wonder.
Exactly.
Go.
Of course.
Let's go.
Gotta bring back that childlike wonder. And I remember the last time in the podcast, I said when I show up at a show, open up the pit, and I was gonna be wearing like a pair of butterfly wings in the pit.
Yeah.
Have not had a chance to do that yet because I always end up forgetting the freaking wings. But now I have to make it a mental point in my brain. So during your show at Louder Than Life, if you're looking out in the middle of the crowd and you see some dude going crazy, but wearing butterfly wings, you're wondering, what the heck is actually going on? Don't worry, it's just me actually making good on a promise from 3 years ago.
We will.
We will look out for you.
I might have to get like little like space on there where it's like more solid, just so that maybe after the show I can be like, hey, you want to sign these so I can actually like put them up on the wall here, and then I have like warning butterfly wings up here.
That would be amazing. For sure.
I'll move one of the flags over and I'll just post it up there and be like, yep, this is more important right now. So, but if anyone else takes an idea from me, I'm watching.
Yeah.
Copyrighted.
Exactly.
Copyrighted, stamp it, whatever it is. Who knows? Well, ladies, I know I don't have much time with you, so I do want to thank you for taking the time today talking about this incredible album, looking at your incredible growth over the past couple of years, and of course, tell people that on album release day, I believe it's on the 27th, go check out Jimmy Kimmel Live, because you're going to find the warning on there, and you're going to want to see what happens when the mainstream finally gets, fully introduced to this band.
Thank you so much. It was awesome being back here for sure.
Thank you for your time and for having us.
Yes.
And
for your kind words. I'm pumped.
I feel
I'm ready.
Just like pump them up, but well-deserved pump up. But as we bring this conclusion, I would like to give my guests, which is all three of you, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug for a plug, promote at the end of the episode. So ladies, the floor is yours.
Okay, so our new album, Keep Me Fed, is out June 28th, which is literally like almost right now.
Yeah.
So go listen to it. Go tell us what you think. We're very proud of this work. Also, we're touring nonstop the whole year. We're playing in the US. We're playing in September. We're touring in October with Evanescence and Hailstorm in Canada. So be on the lookout for these dates. Our Instagram is The Warning Rock Band. We're The Warning Rock Band on Facebook and everywhere else. You can find all the dates there.
We might be near a city
Near you. So go check it out. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Well, we're going to make it even easier for everybody, for them to go to the description of the podcast where it says find the warning online, links and labels for everything, for socials, where you can connect them, where you can go and pre-save this album, where you can stream it when it comes out, where you can get some merch and get tickets for any of those shows that are coming up. So, you got to go and do it. I'm doing all the work for you. It's all down there. So come on. It's easy. Now it's time for number 2. Well, ladies, again, I want to thank you for being on the podcast, and I have to make good on that promise of at Louder Than Life, because that's where I'm going to be. I'll have a chance to see you. I got to break out the butterfly wings, and if you see me in the middle of the crowd running around in butterfly wings, just know, keeping that promise. And I got to find a way to get you to sign them too, so I can put them up on the wall and replace maybe the flag or one of these skate decks and be like, yeah, warning, butterfly wings. We're putting it up here.
Awesome.
We'll be on the lookout for it.
Perfect.
Sure.
We're doing it for the full story. And now it's time for number 3, ladies. I cannot end by saying goodbye, because it was a pleasure having you on the podcast once again. And I hope this isn't the last time either. I hope we can do this another time. Plus, I got to make good on the promise with the butterfly wings at Louder Than Life. So this cannot be goodbye. Ladies, this is, I'll see you later.
See you later. Thank you.
Well, folks, this is my interview with Dany, Elliot, and Paul from the band The Warning. And now it's time for Kevin's final thought. It's simple, my final thought. This album shows me that The Warning is The Warning. Like, you know what their core sound is, that hard rock drive. They absolutely have it. But what this album also shows with Keep Me Fed is the amount of influence that they can take from so many other ideas, collaborate with them, put them in their music, and still have it sound like The Warning. You're going to find things that are a little bit more funky, a little bit more groovy, have a lot more of a bass line, a little bit more of a metal flair at times too, maybe a little bit more of this eclectic flow. But when you get to the chorus, this is where the beauty of it all comes in, because so many of the verses and the lead-ins have a little bit more of that differentiated style that they're experimenting with. But when it comes to the chorus, it is purely The Warning. It hits hard, it hits home, but the beauty behind it is it has a little bit of that influence flair in there, so you know it's The Warning, and they can play with so many different styles and really create more. That is the beauty of this album and beauty of what The Warning is doing. They are continuing to grow, and what this album shows is how much more they have grown, but it also gives you a look at still what is to come. There is so much more left for The Warning to discover, to try out with their music, that this band truly is the best band in rock music today. There is no doubt in my mind. Their continued growth is absolutely deserved. Their continued work is absolutely on, display here. So they absolutely deserve every bit of the credit that they're going to get with releasing this album and every bit of the accolades that they're going to achieve going forward. So make sure you check out Keep Me Fed and The Warning when they're on tour. Description of the podcast below where it says find The Warning online, and link symbols for everything going to be down there. So go and make sure you follow them, and also stream the album, buy some merch, go see them live. Also be sure to follow the Chord Progression Podcast. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and right here on YouTube. So subscribe right down here, or you can follow us on any of those platforms. Also down below, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram links. So go check those out. Go follow the podcast there for any other fun times. Also, you can talk to us right there too. So hell yeah. Thank you guys. This is Kevin. And that's what you guys think. To the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin. And you guys know how I am every single one. That was big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!